Pay what you want is a pricing strategy where buyers pay their desired amount for a given commodity, sometimes including zero. In some cases, a minimum price may be set, and/or a suggested price may be indicated as guidance for the buyer. The buyer can also select an amount higher than the standard price for the commodity. Motivation: giving buyers the freedom to pay what they want can be very successful in some situations, because it eliminates many disadvantages of conventional pricing. Buyers are attracted by permission to pay whatever they want, for reasons that include eliminating fear of whether a product is worth a given set price and the related risk of disappointment. For sellers, it obviates the challenging and sometimes costly task of setting the €/euro price. For both, it changes an adversarial conflict into a friendly exchange, and addresses the fact that value perceptions and price sensitivities can vary widely among buyers. While most uses of PWIW have been at the margins of the economy, or for special promotions, there are emerging efforts to expand its utility to broader and more regular use. Further reasons for sellers implementing PWIW pricing includes price discrimination and market penetration. Price discrimination occurs as a result of buyers with higher valuations of the product choosing to pay a higher price. Thus, price discrimination could result in higher revenues for the seller if costs are sufficiently low. PWIW is also an effective tool for penetrating a new market, perhaps to introduce a new brand, as even consumers with a very low valuation can pay small amounts for the same product. Other names include pay what you wish, pay what you like, pay as you want, pay what you feel, pay as you wish, pay as you like, pay what you will, and pay as you will. Pay what you can is sometimes used synonymously, but is often more oriented to charity or social uses, based more on ability to pay, while PWIW is often more broadly oriented to perceived value in combination with willingness and ability to pay. History and commercial uses: PWIW has long existed on the margins of the economy, such as for tips and street performers, as well as charities, and has been gaining breadth of interest. Contemporary Christian music artist Keith Green implemented a similar structure for his album So You Wanna Go Back to Egypt. The album, available solely through Green's Last Days Ministries, was offered on mail-order coupon. A purchaser would send the coupon, along with the chosen purchase price, to obtain the album. One of the earliest known Pay What Your Heart Feels initiative was started in 1984 at Annalakshmi Restaurant at Bangsar, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, inspired by Swami Shantananda Saraswati. This concept soon spread to some of the Annalakshmi restaurants located in other cities too. Theatres began using it for selected nights. Use by restaurants has been spreading since the opening of One World Everybody Eats, in 2003 in Salt Lake City. The restaurant is now owned by a non-profit group that requires customers pay at least $4 for their entree. Freeware applications are frequently distributed under donationware that prompts the user to donate to the author rather than paying for the software, as opposed to the shareware model. A major boost in awareness occurred in October 2007, when Radiohead released their seventh album, In Rainbows, through the band's website as a digital download using this pricing system. In December 2007, punk metal record label Mosh Pit Tragedy Records became the first to operate fully under the PWIW download system. In 2008, Weakness moved to the system for all their future albums and old albums they owned the rights to. It is now their primary method of distribution. In March 2008, Taiwan music platform Indievox launched a system that allowed all musicians to sell their music by the PWIW pricing system. In fall 2009, actor Jeremy Lelliot founded Carriage Theatre Company, the first entirely PWIW theatre company on the West Coast, to assure that the cost of a ticket would never prevent anyone from seeing high-quality theatre in Los Angeles. Cuckoo Kangaroo, a comedy kids hip-hop duo, release all of their recorded music under this system. The group has referred to themselves strictly as a live band, and thus give away their music solely so as many people as possible can hear it and be able to sing and dance along with it at their performances. In 2010, Panera Bread Bakery used the system in a St. Louis, Missouri suburb, and has generated further attention by opening more since. Introduced during May 2010, the Humble Indie Bundle was a set of 6 independently developed digitally downloadable video games which were distributed using a PWIW model. At the end of the sale, $1.27 million had been raised. They have since done over 20 more bundle sales, generating a total of over $19 million in revenues, and securing in April 2011 an investment of $4.7 million by Sequoia Capital. In late 2012, McPixel had a PWIW weekend, in partnership with the Pirate Bay, as the creator Michael Kaminsky wanted people to try his game as a reason to buy it. Canonical implemented this system on Ubuntu download page. Their message varies, but usually asks to show Ubuntu some love. Or, alternatively, help out in the bug tracker. One can adjust the sum they wish to contribute for each development initiative from $0 to $125. Alternatively, there is an option to skip the payment and go straight to download of selected OS type. The creators of iUtico Postcards project leave the amount of the contribution upon user's decision. A handmade postcard could be ordered from the website and the contribution amount is transferred to a charity and creators. In 2013, Headsets.com offered their customers the PWIW option. CEO Mike Faith noted almost all the company's customers paid full price, with only 10% opting to pay less, saying just as money-back guarantees were considered over-generous and dangerous when they were first introduced, they are almost a standard nowadays. There is no reason that trust-based pricing should the unregistered trademark T become a norm over the next decade. In early 2014 a technical support company, called MyHelpster, launched PWIW. Customers could indicate the price they wanted to pay, with the help of a dynamic slider on their website. PWIW served as a trust-building tool, and to raise industry awareness. In April 2014 in the UK an event planning website, called Partiso, launched PWIW for commissions upon successful bookings. In March 2015 ebook store openbooks.com opened for public with PWIW business model. Readers are encouraged to download complete, DRM-free ebooks, read them and decide at any time how much they would like to pay. Australian Cinema Popcorn as Anything opened on May 1, 2015 using the pay-as-you-feel model. Closely aligned with vegetarian restaurant group Lentil as Anything, Popcorn as Anything promotes films around social change, human rights and environmental themes. Each month's film is selected by its supporters through a monthly vote. Popcorn as Anything also provides a platform for small-scale, independent filmmakers to showcase films to the local community at low cost. Research: with the prominence of the Radiohead experiment, economics and business researchers began a flurry of studies, with particular attention to the behavioral economic aspects of PWIW. What motivates buyers to pay more than zero, and how can sellers structure the process to obtain desirable pricing levels? One early such study was the one done by Kim et al. In January 2009. In a large-scale experiment conducted in a large amusement park, Ayelet Neasy, Yuri Neasy, Loif D. Nelson, and Amber Brown tested the effectiveness of PWIW by selling roller coaster photos to park visitors. Their results show that, although many more people buy the photo when it is offered under PWIW, the average price paid is very low, resulting in no income increase to the firm. However, when PWIW was coupled with a charitable cause the average amount paid increased substantially, resulting in a significant income increase to the firm in addition to generating substantial charitable contribution. In a follow-up research paper, Neasy and colleagues found that PWIW may deter some customers from purchasing. Their results show that this is because individuals feel bad when they pay less than the appropriate price, causing them to pass on the opportunity to purchase the product altogether. In a series of controlled laboratory experiments, Klaus M. Schmidt, Martin Spann and Robert Zeithhammer show that outcome-based social preferences and strategic considerations to keep the seller in the market can explain why and how much buyers pay voluntarily to a PWIW seller. They find that PWIW can be viable on a monopolistic market, but is less successful as a competitive strategy because it does not drive traditional posted price sellers out of the market. Instead, the existence of a posted price competitor reduces buyers' payments and prevents the PWIW seller from fully penetrating the market. When given the choice, most sellers opt for setting a posted price rather than a PWIW pricing strategy. Another PWIW experiment looked at determinants for the price chosen by consumers of the application iProduct, which provided tutorials and lessons for potential application developers on the App Store. The application was offered as free with in-app purchases, including a gratuity mechanism that allowed users to donate what they wanted for the projects included in the app. The study tested the significance of 4 determinants in deciding the PWIW price paid by consumers: fairness, loyalty to the seller, price consciousness, and usage. The study found that price consciousness negatively influenced the price paid, while usage and loyalty positively influenced the price paid for the product. Fairness was found to have no significant effect. Further research focused on the long-term perspective of pay what you want. A study conducted by researchers of the Ruhr University of Bochum examines repeated transactions in a pay-what-you-want environment. By using latent growth modeling, they find that the average prices paid decrease significantly. Yet the decrease of prices paid declines with every transactions. They further show that customers' preference for fairness and price conscientiousness influence the steepness of the individual price curves. Enhanced forms. Efforts have been made to expand on the benefits of PWIW, to make it more useful and profitable to sellers, while maintaining its inherent appeal to buyers. One such enhancement is reflected in the Humble Indie Bundle, which has added a buyer-directed charity component to further increase buyer willingness to pay. This is similar to the research study noted above. Humble Bundle also encourages buyers to beat the average by adding additional content for customers paying more than the current average purchase price. Another enhancement is an expanded process, called Fair PWIW, which shifts the scope from a single transaction view, to an ongoing relationship over a series of transactions. It adds tracking of individual buyers' reputations for paying fairly, and uses that reputation data to let the seller determine what further offers to extend to that individual buyer. In that way, it seeks to incentivize fair pricing by buyers, and to enable sellers to limit their risk on each transaction in accord with the buyer's reputation. The fair pay architecture and how it builds on modern pricing strategy has been outlined on the Harvard Business Review blog. See also, freemium, honor system, pay what you can, price discrimination, pricing methods, proof of payment, sliding scale fees. References. External links: Pay as you wish at Freakonomics, Pay what you want for musicians at TechDiet, Shared social responsibility, a field experiment in Pay what you want pricing and charitable giving at sciencemag.com. Postcards with no price tags: When selling digital content, let the customer set the price at Harvard Business Review, DRM free ebooks in Pay What You Want model.